just if you
I'll make some time today to take a look at it.
yeah, and if you just want to ping me when you're done, and again,
Okay.
like today works, or if it was tomorrow, that would be okay too, and that way I can
Okay.
send back over. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. I can ping it. No problem. Sorry. I'll turn my video off while I plug in cables.
Cool. Thanks, Chris. Awesome. Well, happy Monday, everyone. It is the January 27th edition of the weekly OpenJS Security Collaboration Space meeting. We are open to everyone, so please stop on by, especially if you have questions or any thoughts or just looking to collaborate or learn. So, yeah, thanks, Leonardo, for coming to your first Collab Space meeting. So to hop in to things, let me bring up the agenda if I can do that on one screen. Here we go. I shared a link to it in the meeting notes, but just in case, I'll share it so we can kind of walk through it together. Cool. So first off, at Ben's suggestion, we rather than having an individual meeting notes doc for each week in each meeting, we're going to have a running one that we just add a section to for each meeting from now on. I think that's a much better approach than how we're doing it in the past. It'll be easier for us to look back and maintain the doc. So I dropped the link in chat, and here we have it here. So to start out, the agenda today that I have is focused a lot on the CNA, have some outreach stuff too. If anyone else has any issues they'd like to bring up along the way, please feel free to toss on the agenda, even if you don't have a link to an issue, and we'll go through them. So to start off, are there any questions or on the other agenda items folks would wanna put on there before I start going through things? No? Okay, cool beans. So first item today is the OpenJS CNA guide. So as a part of launching the CNA, we kind of need to let maintainers know what's going on. And to do that, I put together this doc last week, and it uses Google Docs' new Documents tab feature. If you have not seen that before, it's pretty awesome to effectively create separate docs within one doc. So first off, the idea is that we'll email each set of maintainers for each project separately. So I know that is like 30 something distinct emails, but the reason I wanted to take that approach is so that when folks respond to those emails, they can reply all and they'll see everybody in that project who received it. And that way we can have a distinct thread with each of them, um, for them to quickly respond and kind of get things going. If anyone has any thoughts on preferring a different way, like sending one large email and letting everybody reply all, or one large email with everybody BCC'd, definitely open-minded. But I figured, even though it's a little bit heavier, to create that one for each project so that we can have a conversation with each project individually.
Each project sounds great. Let's just make sure we also CC whatever, like our CNA list or whatever, so that it's not, so that we have a group archive of it.
Yep,
But otherwise, that
that's
sounds
exactly
great
right.
to me.
All right, cool beans.
Red, I
So we will.
still recommend maybe after this you setting like up a town hall meeting. So like one meeting for folks to come attend, because I think say you even have 15 individual meetings, that doesn't scale as quickly. So maybe
Sure.
have a couple of town hall meeting options for folks so they can come ask questions in real time and learn from each other.
That's a great idea. I know we talked about that before. I recall from last time, was there like a standard sort of event town hall thing, or do you mean just as like a one-off?
It's a one-off. We have
Okay.
a kind of a comprehensive list of a lot of the lead maintainers of all
Yep.
of the projects. So we can just send it out and maybe give one or two options for folks to participate.
All right, cool. Sounds good. I will add that to the email. as well, and I'll create a calendar invitation. It actually, what I think, does it make sense to create that on the OpenJS calendar so everyone can see it, or should I just create that by myself? Just wanted to, I'm not sure if you guys have a specific way of doing that.
It would not go on the public calendar,
Okay.
so you're welcome to do it on your own, so.
Okie doke. Cool
Okay.
beans. What I will do is I'll schedule one for later this week, and I'll schedule another one for later next week, and hopefully we'll get enough folks based upon that.
Perfect.
So, okay, let me capture, let's see, notes.
And note that we'll record it for folks who can't attend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Alrighty, got that. So yeah, also if you all wouldn't mind just poking through the way I have this set up in this doc is first, this is the actual email that'll go out to folks. If you have any feelings or thoughts on this when you see it, just toss a comment in and I will adjust it accordingly. And I'll also update this now to also include the town hall idea.
You may want to
Ne-
spell out what CNA is, like as a subhead for folks who don't know.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, it's right here, but
I would for your headline or something. I
okay,
know it's
cool.
long, but still, I would not assume that folks.
Okay, cool. I'll make that adjustment. Let's see. All right, cool beans. So this is just to have this here, and this is, this will still stay in the doc. There's another tab of basically a fact of what is a CNA and how do they work. Go through this. Do you think there's anything that's missing or not clear? Let me know. It's easy to add stuff to this. This was meant to just be a simple kind of fact. And then there is the actual CNA information and processes for maintainers. These are all internal links right here. So to start out, I kind of put kind of the basics of all of the links that will be publicly relevant to the CNA. I also put a link to the OpenJS Slack in case folks aren't familiar with it for some reason. And I put the points of contact in here. That includes, so I kind of gave people some sense of what the purpose is. Security at should be used by non-open, not be used by the maintainers. Instead, we'll use the CNA at OpenJS for them and internal use. I also put the security collab space weekly meeting as a point of contact just to like emphasize that we're here if you want to meet up just right now. And then I put the individual contacts for folks who are involved with CNA. I only put my email in because I'm a contractor here, and I'm not sure if everybody who's involved here wants their email on blast. So instead, what I did was I put in your Slack handles and your GitHub handles if I had it. Rick, I don't have your GitHub handle. If you wouldn't mind just dropping that in Zoom chat really quick, and I can add you. The reason for the GitHub handle is so that they can add us to documents, to issues or advisories or anything like that, or repos that they need to, so we can see what's going on if they're using GitHub. I also wasn't sure the right way to describe you all here. I put myself as the primary point of contact, which is straightforward, but I wasn't sure if you wanted me to describe you as a volunteer, a contributor, a member. Not sure how people felt about describing themselves. Oh, Chris, go for it.
I was going to respond to a previous thing, which was you talked about the projects need to loop us in, etc. Something we should look into is GitHub. Not that long ago, added a security type of user role. And
Hmm.
the OpenJS Foundation as the enterprise like umbrella account over some of the projects, we should look into whether that user role would automatically be granted just the security aspect stuff to see like draft advisories and stuff within those sub organizations. That just might uh, I don't know, reduce some friction there. So something to look into.
Chris, did you have an idea on a word to describe us really quick before I hop to Ben? Sorry, just want to finish the thought.
I'll give it a think. Ben can go.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask, what is the final resting place of this doc? In other words, is Google Drive where you're collaborating on this and then it'll go in GitHub, or is Google Drive the permanent home for it? And
Yeah, oh, go ahead, Ben. Sorry.
I only ask because, well, yeah, go ahead, and then we'll.
Yeah, well, I actually, this was the question I was going to ask after going through everything. So this is I'm glad you asked it. My initial thought was to create this in Google Docs because I suspect upon first contact with this doc, there will be a lot of updates and subtle updates that will be needed for us to put that so that using, oh my gosh, there will be subtle changes, possibly a lot of them based upon the feedback we get when we first use this. So keeping in a Google Doc for that's easier. My assumption was that at some point, once this is reasonably stable and we don't see need to change it, that we would move this to GitHub. But I just wanted to make sure this was relatively in good shape before doing that.
Yeah, it's fair. I just wanted to be like, I think unless something really has to be private, right? We've already kind of established GitHub is where we're documenting
Yep.
all of our work and stuff. And yeah, so if this can go into our Collab space, that's great.
Okay, cool. I will. What I'll do is I'll also mention that here. Okay. Oops. Okie dokie. Done. Oh, Chris.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I immediately thought of the credit, the roles drop down in the credits, like in the GitHub advisories, and I think the most suitable ones off the top of my head to keep consistency with that, not that that's super important, would be analyst and coordinator.
Okay.
We are talking about coordinated vulnerability disclosure, etc. So generic term like that is, one option.
CNA coordinator sound good?
Sure. We can always change it if folks have better ideas.
How do you feel being a coordinator, Jordan?
That's fine.
Okie doke. It is done. Alrighty. So, let's see, going back into this. So we talked briefly about what's a CNA and how do they work. I'm sure this will get some iteration what I expect is as questions come in from maintainers, we'll update this to reflect that so that we can make sure it's nice and good. And then here's the CNA info and processes. So another question for Jordan and Chris. How did you feel about when you just putting your Slack in GitHub and not your email? Because I guess ideally everybody would be emailing the CNA, but obviously me being the primary here, and a contractor, I don't have a problem putting my work email in here, but
My GitHub's misspelled, by the way. There's no
oh,
I in it.
my bad.
But otherwise, yeah, it's fine.
I don't mind if it's useful. Oh, my hand's still up. That should have been lowered. If it's useful, I don't mind if you need the email. It's
I
Yeah, like it's
suspect
fine
it's
to put
not
it there.
useful.
My email's obscenely public, but like if it's would create confusion to put it in there, then don't.
Yeah, I just worry about like emails going in every which direction. And so having folks really contact us using the CNA email address is good. And I put this as a personal one just in case something weird happens, but we would prefer in CNA
yeah.
one. So
Yeah, I agreed. But so Ben's comment in chat, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I see this in other projects too, where like people will, even though there's a very public, hey, here's how you report security stuff, people
mhm,
still individually email people, and they're
they
like,
do.
oh, I didn't see this from 3 weeks ago. So it'd probably be best if like individual emails were not like publicized, if at all possible.
Yeah,
Um, but
And there will definitely still be people that go out of their way to find an email address to email an
yes,
individual person, but like you can't,
it's true.
yes.
can't stop everyone.
Let's not give them more rope.
Okie doke then. Cool beans. Um, so down here, I have a bit of a table of contents and just kind of some quick, I'm sure this will get iterated on. I have some links to these below, but the idea is um, this is written in a way to really spell out the different things that we could potentially do, even though maybe the write-ups are a little redundant or they could be grouped together. The point is to give a very explicit list on what kind of things could be done. Definitely let me know if there's other things that could be in this list you think, and how it's written up. Oh, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure where those links go to. I assume some of them are probably going to like the cert guide, probably,
They're
or I
all
don't know.
going, these links all go down to the sections down here where they're spelled out in
Oh,
detail.
these are all things you've specifically written in here. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll have to take a look at this and see. But yeah, I agree. We can iterate on it. I was just thinking in my head though, there's a great slide deck from the CVE board, if I recall correctly. I'll try to find it. But it has really great, very concise guidance on writing the perfect
Yes.
rec.
Yep.
And like I would like copy pasta that whole thing in here if you haven't taken a look further down. But it's just really good. And it like the CNA the CVE guide is very detailed and long, and it's
Mhm.
just slide deck, just this particular slide, couple of slides really do a really great job of sort of distilling it down into a really digestible piece of information. So
I know exactly the deck that you're talking about on the website. So that's a great call out. And Steve added a question here as well that's very similar to, around this concept of giving them a template to start from. So absolutely, I can take the action item on that. No problemo. Let's go.
Rudd,
Yes,
yeah,
Robin.
I was just gonna sort of pile on that comment before Chris pointed out the deck, that I think that's just too many links. I think less is more. And some of the feedback we get from a lot of stuff coming out of like the security foundations, there's just so much stuff to read. So I'd prefer if we could just give them one concise thing and maybe some backup, as opposed to a whole bunch of stuff that they think they need to read.
Yeah, the I guess the idea behind this is to kind of treat this almost like a fact a little bit of like here are the things that you can do. So the idea behind this table was to prevent people from having to read all of this
Okay, so those are
because
not like, I can't see very well on this stuff sharing. So these are links down below or links to
yes,
separate documents?
these are links to down below.
Oh, okay, I thought they were links to separate documents and then in addition to below. Okay. That's good
Yeah,
then. Yeah, that's good. Again,
perfect. Cool
keep it,
beans.
yeah, concise.
Yeah, I didn't. I basically the idea is like, what are the top hits of questions that they might
Mhm.
have, and
Okay.
make sure one of them is in this list. I thought about combining the bottom two here because they're very similar,
Mhm.
but the reason I didn't was I was like, vulnerability disclosure policies are different than internal CVE processes, and people may not want to do both of those. So I broke those out as two distinct things, even if people do ask for both, just in case they do not. And also kind of like, this is how we can say, here are the services we provide.
No, that's
Which
good.
was,
Again, I was thinking that you had separate, that you had background information links and then you had your outline, so.
oh, no, yeah. So that's
Okay.
all linked down here.
Okay, that's cool. All right, we can
Yeah.
move on, sorry.
Sweet. Oh, no worries. This is good because like all these kind of comments really help me understand how y'all are taking this at first glance, which is good. And then we have the CNA announcement blog post, and I haven't started working on that. Robin, I forget the point of contact for this again.
Jen, Shelby.
Okay. Jen Shelby. Okay. All right, so I'll do that today. So yeah, that is what I have here for this. Definitely do check it out. Give me any feedback. Looking forward to hearing your all thoughts. So let's see. Next item is an internal repo for the CNA coordinators, just to have yes, I'm going to be using those heavily, Jordan. Thank you. So the next idea is around having an internal repo for the CNA coordinators to be able to do internal work and internal tracking that we don't want to have public. So rather than having constantly working through email, perhaps we can just track. This way we can basically track like metrics and how many things we've actually supported and have that list. Also, we need a place to store credentials for actually updating CVE IDs and things like that. So I was pondering a private repo for that. Jordan, Chris, do you have any thoughts?
Well, this is embarrassing. I was failing at multitasking. Can you? What are the tasks again? I apologize.
The question was around whether or not to create a private repo for like you, me, Rick, Ben, for just so we can track what the CNA does as a task, an issue, and also
Yeah.
have a place to store the credentials for updating CVEs themselves.
Well, so
Uh,
for the private stuff, I would assume that we should have a public repo and a private repo for the CNA. For
Hmm.
credentials, I would assume that the LF already provides 1Password or some similar vaulting option, and we should be using that and not attempting to sort of circumvent it.
Agreed. One
Oh,
pass.
cool. Oh, I had no idea. So yeah, that sounds great.
and no credentials in plain text, please.
Okay, let's see.
But yeah, but the repo sounds like a good idea. Just easily track stuff and issues.
Yeah,
It's the lowest
yeah.
friction thing we can do, and if we don't need anything more than that, that's great. And if in the future we need something more complex, we could deal with that at that point. But
Okay, cool. Okie dokie.
I think with I already have 1Password, but I think through that you can, even if you don't have to necessarily be under the same account, you can share credentials across.
Mm.
If I recall correctly.
Cool. Yes. 1Password is awesome. I'm a big fan. Another question I had actually now, Ben, now that I'm thinking about it, was there when we talked about the mailing list for the CNA, I was wondering, we have it emailing to individual people right now, like a regular mailing list. Was there any was there any room to get like a Google group or something like that for those emails instead?
I mean, it's already a mailing list in Groups.io, so
Okay.
it's yeah. So like, if you added a Google Groups, you're kind of duplicating. It's like one or the other.
Okay. So in Groups.io, we can like see the list of emails and stuff like that too, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Then we're good to go. Sorry, I haven't really used Groups.io before. So I'll go poke around and check that out then. Alrighty. Then let's see what else we've got then. Finally, then, we have the compliance guide outreach. So I have this task here, and it lists all of the projects that we could be doing outreach on. This doesn't include the archive ones, and I think I might add those in at the bottom as well. But we can talk about that later. So what I'm going to do this week is build out the like basically a similar doc to this for the compliance guidelines, and also do an email to a select group of maintainers on this list to start doing more, so we can start getting more surveys done for folks. So once I have the doc created for that, I will share it with y'all so you can take a look. And I think we can just kind of go from there. So I'll be doing that doc this week and hopefully starting to send out emails this week as well. That'll also involve a handful of small updates to the guidance as well, based upon some input I've received. So that'll be going on this week. And that is all I have for the agenda for today. Any questions, thoughts, or walk-on items?
Thanks for putting all that together.
Yeah.
As always, really appreciate your work there. Definitely will, once I'm done with some other things, I do want to take a look at that guide that you started. But it looks great so far. Thanks.
Cool beans. And just an update, I could be wrong, but I don't believe we've seen a response from Red Hat yet. I posted them. Oh yeah. Here you go, Rick. All right. So yeah, we're kind of on standby for that. But if we don't hear back from them by Friday, I'll ping them again just to see what's going on.
Sorry, we're on standby for which?
Oh, waiting for Red Hat to respond so we can have the meeting.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Alrighty, cool beans. Anything else, folks? No. Alrighty. Well, thanks so much, everyone. Oh, and just as a thing, because we're using this now, so we'll update this really quick to see just for who's here. Robert and all you folks that are Steve. What is that?
And the latest Mac OS update has like these reactions built into the camera. So some of them are like thumbs up or party or what's this one? Fireworks? Ooh.
Kaboom.
And if you don't have
How to do that?
no, if you need more reactions than the built-in
Oh,
ones.
you don't want my linked one?
Oh, did you put a link to it in? I was surprised
No,
that
no,
did
no.
I
You
wasn't
had it. You had me highlighted. You got rid of it. So I was like, oh, you don't like my link to one? That's okay.
I wasn't sure if it worked because I clicked on it and like nothing happened. So that's why I was like, oh, that was unexpected. I don't know how it knows
All
that.
good.
So
Right,
um
don't forget Leo, Leonardo.
Oh yeah,
oh
Leo.
yes. And
Yeah.
let's see. We have Leo. Let's
Chris is
see.
just wilding out over there.
Alrighty. So yeah, that's what I've got for today. If unless there's anything else beside awesome reactions. Chris, how do you do that one in the background, by the way? Just really quick, that first one you did.
Oh, at the top of the top Mac menu bar,
Mm,
if you're on there's a green camera icon.
yep.
You see that? And so there's reactions menu. Click the little arrow on the right,
Oh, I see.
and then you'll
Okay,
see the different options.
that's awesome. Thank you, sir. Much
You're not
appreciate it.
going to
I
try
learned
it
something
out?
today. For some reason, the green camera is. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I'm presenting. Here, let me stop
Yeah, when you're
presenting.
presenting, it'll mess with you.
Let's see. So stop sharing. There we go. Reactions.
Oh yeah, there Steve's got it.
Oh, I see. The reactions don't work the same if you have a virtual background on.
Mm.
Okie doke. Well, reactions aside, have a great week, everybody, and thanks a bunch.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Cool.
Adam. Thanks,
Toodaloo.
all.
Bye.
Right, bye.
Hey.